Hi, everybody. Welcome to Katrina Rasbold and Friends. And are you excited? Because I'm excited because I get to share the screen again with the wonderful Dahlia Rose. Dahlia, how the hell are you?
I'm fucking awesome.
Well, that's a given.
Happy to be back more than ever.
Yeah. I miss having a show with you all the time. I really do. Just it always. So for those of you who don't know, Dahlia and I had a show called Crossroads of Cognizance that ran for quite a long time as far as podcasts and shows go. And those times just set me. I mean, it would open my mind and make me think about things, give me stuff to mull over at 2 a.m. when I can't get back to sleep, and always made me view things in a slightly different way. So it really opened me up. I enjoyed doing that very much. Thank you for that.
As did I. I mean, 100 episodes is no joke.
Right.
And there was a lot of learning, a lot of exchanging, and the way you think about things is always very expanding for me. So I loved it.
Well, high five. We have a wonderful mutual admiration society of two. So, so if you ever want to see any of our archives, a lot of it is evergreen. And you can just click over and go down our rabbit hole, which is not a metaphor. It sounds like it is. It's not. And just see what we were up to, because we talked. I hate when he does that. He will do the coffee grinder when I'm recording. I love him to death, though, so enjoy that coffee. It's worth that 10 seconds.
You know? It is. Absolutely.
Anyway, we talked about so many different things. And just at the end, we're looking all over Reddit for things to talk about.
Yeah. Reddit has gotten no less interesting. We just don't talk about it anymore.
I don't know if it's for the better or the worse. We'll see.
Right.
So we're going to go ahead and get started with our second round of questions. And yeah, okay, there's a note. I'd made a note. I had to read it. This one is going to be, I know, very nuanced for you. And there are lots of strings in different directions about this question. What do you like best about where you live now?
Oh, well, so I've moved since our show, and with that move came a lot. I moved deeper into Virginia, like by choice of all things. And so there's a lot to say about the area, as anyone could probably just imagine for a moment. But what I do love in the contrast between Northern Virginia and here is all of the green. So I didn't realize, having lived in Northern Virginia since 2001, that there was
2001?
Yeah.
Like 2001. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I heard 1001. I was like, you look great.
Oh, no.
Dahlia, what are you going to do?
Right.
Okay, so 2001. I'm with you now. I'm back.
2001. Yeah. So there's so many fewer buildings, like or at least they're clustered here.
Mm-hmm.
And so driving, seeing the greenery, smelling the air. I mean, it sounds strange, but it smells different out here. It's not a lot of exhaust in buildings. And I mean, I was in the suburbs. I wasn't in like the heart of industrial territory, but it's completely different and it feels less stressful. So that's what I enjoy most about here. Everything else is relatively backwards. So it is what it
Bless
is.
their hearts.
Yeah. Yes.
When I lived in England, I was at a base called Bentwaters, and it was the partner base to Woodbridge, which was where the UFO landed in England. And we had T-shirts made for Bentwaters that said, "Welcome to Bentwaters Air Force Base. Please set your watch back 20 years."
I mean, that's pretty much every military installation. You can go into, I love visiting different military installations, going into the PX and seeing that the fashion is the same. Like, and they're playing songs from like the 80s and the 90s, and it never changes. It's like a time capsule.
So other than medical facilities, because Eric's a disabled vet, I have not been in any kind of military building since 2004.
Oh, lucky you.
And I loved it. I was a military wife for longer than either of my husbands because I had the combined tenure, and so I did, I think, 23 years.
Okay.
And all different, all over the world bases. Now, in my first marriage, we traveled a lot. He would relocate quite a bit. Eric was always just at the one base. And that was the base where I came to work initially. And so it's you're right. It's a very similar vibe. And of course, base housing always looks exactly the same. Inside, it's just the same building. They took one set of blueprints for each. There's 3 or 4 different styles of houses, and they're like, okay, this is all we're gonna do. And
Right.
so, yeah, it's amazing how similar it is. You're right.
And
And I don't know what that retro vibe is or why that retro vibe is there, because when you look at the military overall, it's mostly young people.
absolutely.
When you retire out, you're in your 40s. So
right. And nothing gets updated. And maybe right, maybe the 80s, 90s was just a less challenging time. I don't know. I don't even know what it is. I can't even put my brain on it. But it never changes, never updates.
Never changes. I loved the security of it in the sense that you always knew you were going to have a house as long as your kids behaved, and you always knew that you were going to. No, that's a thing. And you always knew that you had medical.
Yeah.
And you always had food that was a little less expensive. That was always really nice. And you almost always qualified for food stamps. So that was good. That helped, certainly.
Yeah.
But gosh, just never knowing if your partner's going to be there or not. That, of course, is a huge part of the military. And that was tough.
Yeah. For me, it was my mom. So,
your mom was military?
Yeah.
Your mom is such a fierce badass. I can see that. I can so see that. So was she enlisted or officer?
Enlisted Marine.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love this.
She still is a badass with a badass sense of humor.
So much.
But what I appreciate about her is that she never brought work home. So her intensity was there. I mean, I met her Marines, and they were very respectful when she came in the room. So it was understood how they felt about her, and then the loyalty that was there as well.
Sure.
But she treated me like a princess. So
did she ever have to deploy?
No, fortunately, like just before, I mean, and not to say that of anybody else, but just the fear and the concern, I didn't have to go through.
Mm-hmm.
There were times when she left me like with my grandmother or something, because she had to do a tour in different places.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as deploying, like in those very harsh war lands, no, she had retired, and then like a year or two later, we went to war.
So you and your grandmother being close, that comes from living together then, and her being a big part of your life, it sounds like.
I think it's a combination of that, but also our closeness is my grandmother is the woo person. So I don't get this from my mom. I got it from my grandmother. And it was almost like osmosis. Like she didn't show me anything in any real specifics until I was older, but there would be like little bite-sized moments throughout my childhood. And, having me read the master key system here and there and
okay.
my mom and my grandmother working in hypnotism and stuff like that. And my
Yeah.
mom would just be like, whatever, my mom's weird. And I was kind of like, okay, this is interesting. And then one
That's
day as a
Go ahead.
teen,
I'm
it
sorry.
completely took over. So
That's the woo-woo equivalent of handing a 6-year-old a book on string theory.
she was like, listen, you need to know this, read it. Like,
That's
this is how the universe
fantastic.
works. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's a great woman.
wow. That's amazing. So yeah, I never had a husband deployed to a war zone.
Mhm.
I was married as the Gulf War happened,
Oh,
and that was I'm that old. I got married in 78. But there were times when Paul, my first husband, they had what was called recall, which was where you got a phone call in the middle of the night, show up, you've got to be there within a certain number of minutes, and you don't know what's happening. You don't know if it's an exercise, you don't know if it's real, so you don't know if they're coming back. If they do leave, you don't know where they're going, and you might not for a long time.
right.
And he would sometimes have to just sit on a plane in the heat on the flight line for hours and still not know if he's leaving or not. You just grab your go bag and you're ready. But I don't know if it's still like that, but that's how it was then. And that was a little rattling sometimes to just, I'm a Virgo. I like,
Oh yeah. If my mom
yeah.
was late picking me up from daycare, or if I had to, so there were times when I had to overnight at daycare, which
Mm.
wasn't I mean, it was a home daycare, but they made special arrangements for me. And I was like, oh, she died.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
she's not coming back. So she's not here on time. Nobody told me anything. I mean, who's going to tell a
Oh,
kid something?
sure.
But it was that Virgo structure real early. And I was
Right
like,
on.
something's off.
Eric did have a tour in Saudi Arabia, but it was
Mm.
before we were married. In fact, we got married the week after he came back.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that was not, it was harrowing, but people have it worse.
Sure,
He
sure.
was a calm
Absolutely.
guy, so he was out in the middle of the red desert, and he talks a lot about the red sand and the wolf spiders and all that. Like, no, I'm good. Thank you.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
the Middle East has I will stay out of that space for the camel spiders alone.
Right? Oh, yeah. No, no, thank you. I'm good. So, what is your favorite meal?
So that one I had mentioned some of these were a little tricky. This was one of the trickier ones because I didn't have like a specific meal, it was more like a genre of meal. And it's any kind of Asian cuisine. So for
Hmm.
me, food is a like a 360-degree experience. It needs to smell how it looks. It needs to be the texture of how it looks. And then once I put it in my mouth, like all of that needs to come together, or I'm gonna die a little inside of disappointment. And so I have never been and my palate isn't vast, but I've never been disappointed by Asian cuisine. And it's always so like it's so flavorful, almost like it's always marinated, where like I don't get that from other kinds
Mhm.
of food. A step down from that, if we were to keep it simple, it would be mac and cheese. But
Mm.
um like a good homemade mac, but Asian cuisine mostly.
Do you make mac and cheese?
I will not because I will ruin it. Like if it's not in a box, probably gonna ruin it. But I've had some really great people make it for me that I could just eat it for
Mhm.
days. Which last
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, though I don't celebrate, I like the coming together of family. Um, I got a chance to indulge in that, so it's a very happy time.
I enjoy the old blue Kraft box of macaroni and cheese,
Oh
but
yeah,
I have to treat it as a completely different food. It's its own food.
yeah.
Yeah. The orange powder, I could snort that stuff. I don't know why I enjoy it so much.
Well, aren't you happy now? It says real mac and cheese. I don't know what it
Don't
was
I
before.
don't know who they blew to be able to get that on the box, you know? They probably took the Velveeta out of it and qualified or something.
Right?
It tastes exactly the same.
Yeah, there's no different. But you know what
Yeah.
I heard? There was a quiet switch. Is what I read is that they did the formula switch, and then after so much time of approval, they were like, now made with real cheese.
Like 22
Like,
years.
I don't remember what time it was, but it was. I was like, hmm.
Now, one thing very particular about that stuff, and you mentioned how picky you are with it's got to look a certain way, it's got to take. I'm definitely right there with you. For instance, I can't eat. I have certain foods that it's probably the autisms or something, but I can't eat certain foods because of their texture.
Oh yeah, no,
Like
keep me away from
I don't even
tomatoes.
care what okra tastes like.
No, it smells horrible.
I know. I cannot eat it. I don't care what kale tastes like. I cannot eat it. Although I know it's very bitter. And it's not just a vegetable thing. There's just some foods that I cannot do.
Yeah, they're awful.
And that being said, with the Kraft macaroni and cheese, if there is one like teeny tiny bit of that freaking powder that is not stirred in and is just laying, that piece is getting segregated off to the side for Bruce because
Okay.
I'm not going to eat it.
Funny story. Do you remember Hamburger Helper?
Now listen, Hamburger Helper hash. There used to be a hash.
Okay.
And that was my all-time favorite food ever in the whole history of the world. And they discontinued it, and you can't get that taste anywhere. Continue, please.
Okay. Well, so they had like a cheeseburger mac, and for years I thought there were carrots in it because there'd be these little orange chunks. It was my mom not stirring the cheese in all the way.
Oh, so there's Eric. If Eric were on the show, one of his favorite foods would be the Hamburger Helper potato stroganoff.
Okay, I had that one.
And for my Hamburger Helper, I use ground turkey, and I use ground turkey for chili as well. It just gives it a lighter, less greasy flavor.
Yeah.
And he loves this stuff, but oh my gosh, it is an effort to get all of that dissolved. I actually have to dissolve the powder in warm water
Yep.
and stir it up real good before I pour it into the mix.
Oh yeah, I don't blame her for what happened. As
No.
I went on to like try and make it myself, I was like, what the hell? So yeah, this is me using one of those little mini blender things to try and get all the powder to break apart.
Did you happen to mention to any, I don't know, other humans that there were carrots in the hamburger?
Yeah, of course, I was a kid. And the teachers would kind of be like, okay. I also happened to mention that my mom, so we're school sharing, and I was like, yeah, my mom doesn't make anything that comes in a can or that doesn't come in a can. My mom got back to her, not in like a bad way, but she was like, why would you say that? And I was like, because I've never seen you not open a can to make food. And so there were a lot of misadventures with me spilling the home secrets about dinner.
Gotcha.
I thought it was normal.
Sure. I was always kind of a combination of home cook and convenience cook. And as a result, my kids have this, as adults, bizarre affection for chicken nuggets and things like that. So
That's what it is. They're eating and they're getting what they need.
My hands are off of it because they're grown ass adults, but yeah.
But those chicken nuggets take them back.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, I think so. So I'm afraid to ask this question because I don't know exactly what I'm going to get. And most of them I can, because, these are my friends that I'm asking these questions to. I can pretty almost predict what they're going to say in response just based on the verbosity of me and most of my friends because we share so much. What's your dream time like?
That's the question you're afraid to ask.
Yes. No, there's other ones, but I'm not going to put them in the interview.
Fair. So my dream time is a lot of talking. It's a complete conversation with entities, people, beings, I'm learning something, I'm teaching something, I'm observing other human beings. It's never been, I had a couple, let me say, not never. I had a couple of dreams when I was younger about dying. Cause like I like one that stands out to me is I'd be running through the woods and all of a sudden I get shot in the back by arrows, and I'd wake up and I'd feel that, and or I'd be falling through the sky or something like that. So like those kinds of things would happen. But as I got older into adulthood, it was always conversational. And I remember drinking a lot of ayahuasca, more than I had ever had before.
In the
And
dream or actually?
yeah, actually,
Okay.
so much so that after ceremony was over, I was still going. And so when I went into dream state, as much as I could on something like that, it was still more talking. And I was like, this is a thing. I mean, and I'd talk to somebody, convey whatever I needed, and I'd go, okay, next. And then the next person would come in, okay, next. And I was just like, what is this? I mean, I remember another talking dream where the earth is over there and I'm in the galaxy or in the like outer space, and I'm in a pool, and there's a man, he's an author, his name's Drinvalo Melchizedek, and by name he's a woo-woo guy. And then there was it Tom Cruise? Some random celebrity man, and we're in this pool and we're talking about the universe and life, and I was just like, okay. So my dream time is a lot of conversations, and then
Wow.
I wake up sometimes with those conversations and sometimes with a what the fuck.
I was going to ask you if you had a dream stenographer that kept track of all of this.
Once they get AI to hack our brains, it's going to be very interesting.
For sure. So I am going to go off script here for just a second because you mentioned AI. You have a very interesting and what I found to be in the woo-woo land almost unusual approach with AI, in that you decided right away to shake hands with this and decide it's going to be here, so you're going to make it your bitch. And would you say that that's accurate? Because you have a very not comfortable, but how can I put it? If you had an uncomfortable coworker that you decided, well, neither one of us is getting fired, but so I'm just going to get along with them and see what they can do for me. That's how I see you treating AI. Would you say that's accurate?
I guess, yeah. I mean, make it my bitch was strong. I love how you see me.
Oh,
I was like,
sorry.
okay, yeah, all right. No sorry needed. I'll take it. I don't know if I make anything my bitch, but okay. So yeah, everybody keeps saying it's an interesting relationship with AI. I use it as a reflective tool,
Mm-hmm.
because I believe in the power of self-reflection. And that's always been what's changed my reality or moved me forward or helped me get through a moment. And so I typically use it that way. I've also, like, you create your own custom GPTs and stuff like that. And spirituality, while I believe the journey is personal and there are things that you have to discover for yourself, there are systems that are already in place that make it easier to navigate those discoveries. Astrology, Gene Keys, human design, I Ching. There's like so much out there. And so creating something that can organize that information for you so that you can simply operate and take those steps is what I've done.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, this is I don't think life was supposed to be hard. So having the clarity of steps that you can take forward has been the most useful element of AI, and that reflective piece too. Actually, I mean, and you have to ask it, because AI is going to be nice to you until you tell it not to be.
Mm-hmm.
There were places where I could say to it, like, okay, where am I being maybe more negative than I realize, or where could I be overlooking a negative tendency? And it would come back and it would say something, and I was like, well, actually, yeah, that's really great. And so woo woo personal development wise, I do have a relationship with AI. And I think that comes from because you said I leaped, so to speak, headfirst into this, and I did, because it was the same thing for me with witchcraft coming out
Mhm.
of Christianity. I wanted to approach something I didn't understand and not be like swept up by rumors and things like that of what it could be. I mean, the things that people say about witchcraft isn't even close to the truth.
True.
So that was my first introduction to like touching something I'm not familiar with. And then AI was kind of the next iteration of that.
Mm.
And it's been nothing but helpful and supportive in ways that I didn't expect, because I can't talk to you 24/7. So it's nice to have something as close to smart as
We could
you
give it a
are.
shot. It occurred to me that if we had had Chat GPT back then, we would still have a show probably.
I mean, well, actually, no, we did. We tried to keep the show pure though, and just pull from
We're
Reddit.
different people now, though.
Yeah, very true.
Evaluate the contents of crossroadsofcognizance.com and generate a list of the next year of topics
Yeah, yeah.
without duplicating.
Or expand on what we had, because that's one of the things that I loved about our show is that there were so many smaller things that we could just
Mhm.
like piece together or like create new categories of conversation. So it probably would have kept
Yeah.
us going for like 5 years.
Oh, at least. At least. So, what animal do you most relate to, or you can have both or either, and enjoy the most?
Okay, so I'm glad you said that, because I was like separating, I have to be slightly difficult in all things. I relate mostly to cats. I'm not saying I don't like them, but because I relate so much to them, I'm just kind of like, I wish you were more affectionate. And that's what people say about me. So it's what it is. But I love interacting with chinchillas. They're small, they're squishy, they don't do much. When they're annoyed, but just I could just squish them all day long. So chinchillas, of all things. I have a pet bird back here, but chinchillas would be my favorite because she will bite the crap out of me.
I
Just
had a
because
bird that hated me every day he lived, and he lived a long time. His name
they're
was
wild
Simon.
ones.
Yeah,
Well,
Simon.
that's Chloe back there. She's mostly green.
Mine was
But
just a little cockatiel.
I love those. I had two of those cockatiels. One
This was
named
a
Bailey.
hand-fed baby, so in theory, he should have been pretty cool.
Yeah.
Did not like me. And I took him because the other person was moving into a place where she couldn't have him.
Okay.
And she said, if you specifically cannot take him, I'm just going to have to let him go. And I knew that if she released him, he was going to die.
Yeah.
And
Cockatiels can't do
so
anything wild.
I kept him, and he just wanted a piece of me, and not in a good way, every day. And he was in my office. So we were, spent a lot of time together. And I remember he talked one time, and I had him for something like 11 years.
Oh.
And when I first got him, at that time he was in the living room, and we had a coven meeting, and this girl brought her boyfriend for the first time. And Simon, just out of the blue, because I had one of those couches that's an L shape and it's got a table in the middle. And so he was on that table. And the guy came over and just sat down, didn't look at him. His back was to him, just kind of sat down near him. And Simon just started going, uh-oh, 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 over and over and over and over. And that's the only time that bird talked. And that guy was a problem.
Oh.
Yeah, turned out to be a problem. And that when the bird died many, many years later, he was behind me. So I'm computer monitor here and he was behind me. And I hear this rustle of feathers and then this thunk. And I turn around and he's on the bottom, just kind of walking around. And he shook it off. He's like, whoa, like I meant to do that, you know? I was like, Simon, what's going on with you, buddy? And he just looked at me like, man, bad day. I don't know. And I went back to working again. About 5 minutes later, I hear the exact sound again. And I turn around. That bird is stone cold dead in the bottom of that cage.
Man.
I know, right? He was a weird bird.
I loved my cockatiels. They were pretty cute. One of them was in love with my dog, so he'd go over and he'd sing to the dog. And
Aww.
the dog would be like, get away from me. But he was just like, I love you. And she will be the same at times. But if I catch her at the wrong day, if I'm wearing the wrong jewelry, I change my hair a little bit, or I'm holding a cell phone, she's going to puncture a vein. So
Eric had a friend that raised African Greys.
Oh, I love those. Had one.
They were just in his house. Probably 50 birds. They all had their cages open. They were just in his house.
Wow.
And he had, you entered kind of through a mud room. And so that was another layer of door. And you had to make sure you closed the door when you came in before you opened the mudroom door. Sure. Just to make sure nobody got out. But there was bird shit everywhere.
Yep. Right? They'll poop through the bars, poop on the bars, around the cage. You're like, how the hell did you do that? Yep.
I have difficulty with animal smells. And we transitioned to indoor cats. We'd always had outdoor cats. And we transitioned to indoor cats. And I'm just not a fan of litter boxes, but Eric is meticulous about keeping it clean, which I appreciate. And so I'm not into to animal smells. I'm not into people smells either, but I'm not into animal smells. And I said I would never have birds again or turtles again because the smell is just unforgiving.
Really? Birds?
I would change his paper, once a week, and it's still just, maybe it's because he was so close to me, he was right behind me, but it just seemed like he always had bird smells in the air. And one of the many reasons I'm not a fan of reptiles is the smell.
Well, that is not something you can overcome. My old boss, which pertains to the next question, I think, he at one point had me like for some extra money, like go to his home. His wife would be there, his kids would be there, and like in their basement, one of the jobs he would pay us for was to go and clean these reptile cages. He had to have like 30 to 50 cages, some big reptiles and some small ones, and geckos and snakes and things like that. And the smell in there was intense.
It's very feral.
It was like a swamp. It was crazy. I mean, it was a cool job because I got to touch a bunch of different things that could really hurt me, and they didn't. But
yeah, I always look for that in a job.
Yeah, what else are you going to work for?
Oh, no, and another thing about animals that's particular to me, and I haven't met many people who have this issue, but I will not own an animal or have a pet that I can't take in a fight. So I'm not having a horse, I'm not having a large dog that could just break bad and chew my ass or something. If it's coming down to me and that animal, I'm walking away.
I get the perspective. For me, it's if I can't carry it to the vet, then I'm probably not going to own it. Which where the big dog,
Dahlia,
falls into that. Well, I don't want to hurt my back. I don't choose my men that way, but animals, yeah.
My brain is seizing up with all the comments. I can say I just spaced out for a second there because nothing would. The gears just were.
Wait, what did you say? Yeah, I need him to be bigger than me.
Isn't that a weird thing? Because I'm the same way, and I just keep getting bigger and bigger. I dated one guy who was my height, and that was so uncomfortable for me, and I do not know why. And the guy was weird, but I mean, I just enjoy a bigger dude.
Yeah. Yeah, I've had my spectrum. I won't say I don't know if discomfort was the word, but I many times it played in my mind. Like I remember dating a smaller guy and he was upset about somebody tapping a car and trying to like drive away or repark, and he was like, I'm gonna go say something. And I was like, so first of all, like I will have to handle that situation if you go where you're not saying something. We're going to keep walking because neither of us is getting out of that situation.
At least you can pick him up and get him to the vet, right?
Come on, right? Like over my shoulder. Yeah, it was. So I don't, but I once dated a guy who was 6'2", and the power I felt.
Right?
Oh man. I remember we were standing in line. It was like at a wine festival, and the line was hella long. And I wanted this little old lady to get in front of me because I was like, she's old. She can't hold her bladder. I don't know that she couldn't hold her bladder, but that was my thought. And I was like, go ahead, lady. And
Thank you for that consideration. He's probably got to pay.
And this guy behind me was like, hey, no, she's got to wait in line for the rest of us. So my person at the time comes out and is like, hey, how are you doing? Like, just checks on me because I'm still standing in line. He was standing in the other line. And the guy shut up so fast. He was like, hey, man, everything's cool. Like, and I didn't have to turn around. And I was like, what is this glorious power that I have? Like, I'm just standing here. And the guy was 6'2", but he was not a fighter. So, but it was just that he was bigger. And I was like, this is really great. I need you to be, at least shoulder length more than me. And we're good.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but we all have what we're attracted to.
Right.
And part of mine is I like them tall.
We love the short kings, but we like them a little taller,
And I don't rule out the shorter people. It's just they have a higher bar to meet. They've got to impress me with other things. So.
And so said short king that I referenced earlier, magnificent beard. I mean, it was
okay.
Here, it was well kept. It was this beautiful blend of black and ginger. It was glorious.
That would be a big point.
Yeah.
Yep. You got to have some other attributes. So, this is the one we were talking about with the aminals. What are the best and worst jobs you've ever had?
Okay, so best job with that veterinarian, working in the office, primarily not cleaning up the animals in the basement. Best job I ever had because there was room for my personality, room for growth. There was a camaraderie that I'd never had at any other kind of job. It was like we were a little literal family. In fact, I invited them all to my first wedding, and my baby shower, I think. And it was just. It felt like going home every time I went into work, which I couldn't. I can say now because here I am. But other than that, couldn't say that anywhere else. Worst job was working in a daycare center that was attached to a gym. Because unlike, I have a tense relationship with children. I love them, but I love good children. I mean, I just, for whatever that means, right? Them being themselves, respectful to some degree, blah, blah, blah. These kids didn't give a care of who I was. It could have been their first time meeting me. It could have been their fifth time meeting me, but there was no established dynamic. So there were children crawling over barrier walls and throwing toys just because they could. It was insanity. And I understood it was the lack of structure. And like I said, the lack of like consistent exposure, but I hated it. Absolutely hated it. Will never, 0 out of 5. Do not recommend.
I feel you, as often is the case. I do not have disdain for OPKs, other people's kids. But I have aversion to. And I wish that wasn't the case. I want to be one of those people that just loves kids. And I'm so impressed by those people. And it just isn't me. Now, to be fair, I also don't love adults all that much. Some particular ones, specific ones. But yeah, it's troubling to me how much I resist being around kids because that's not practical in this world. I did not, it's weird. I rarely babysat my own grandson.
Huh.
Now he lived with us for a couple of years. That was different.
Sure.
But as far as, I'm not one of these grandmas. Now he is now 20, 21 years old. But I wasn't one of these grandmas that was just, oh, bring him by and we can play together while you go out and eat. No, that was not me. Yeah, I'm just, for a long time, my circle, my coven was no kids allowed. And I've relaxed that as I've gotten older, but they better be watching them kids because my house is not baby proofed. And when we were in the store, that was hard. There was one family that came in that their parenting style was very child-led. And it made Eric fucking crazy. I was back in my little bog witch cave, so I didn't catch a whole lot of it. But there was times he was like, look, you got to watch these kids because they're picking up, crystals and throwing them like footballs. And oh my gosh, I don't understand that lack of discipline, not punishment, just discipline of teach your babies how to act, y'all.
Right. Simple conversation. It would happen at Crystal Cognizance too. Clanging the crystals, dropping them like hard on the floor, and then watching parents just kind of be like, oh, yeah. I'm like, wait a minute, let's talk about it. Like, where's the conversation about mutual respect? And this is not our house, and this is not our stuff. And there, that's it.
There were times that the parents sitting there going, no, Stevie, don't touch that. I understand that level of immunity. I really get that because I had 6 kids. I still have 6 kids. I just don't have 6 children. And so I understand how you just get to the point that you're like, you know what? Just I got nothing for you, man. Good luck out there, everybody.
I'm going to say it. It's not going to work, but I'm going to say it.
But yeah, just that they would just be standing there having full conversation. It was like watching some kind of internet short or something because the parents right here talking to you, and in the background you got all this madness going on.
It was insane.
So
yeah. But you did your journey through raising kids. So like I could completely understand that aversion. I still have a little life in me, even despite my experiences.
When Eric and I got married, Delina was 5, had just turned 5. And a little bit prior to that, we had the conversation of he really wanted kids of his own. And there's 15 years difference between us. So he had not been down this path yet. And he really wanted that. He was stepdad. He did the stepdad thing, but he really wanted his own kids. And so I just was like, wait a minute, account services. No, I don't want to talk to you. I was just like, oh God, I really love this guy. Okay. And so then we had, the 2 boys, but I was so done.
I bet.
So done.
After 2, I was like, shop's closed.
When I had Nathan, my body just said, because I was 37, 38 when I had him. And my body is 38. I turned 38 2 days before I had him. And my body just said, if you do this again, we are going to hurt you. We are just going to hurt you. Your entire uterus is going to come out of your body with this baby if you don't stop it. And, I was a midwife. I was a childbirth instructor. I'm good at having babies, but my body was done. I don't know how Michelle Duggar does that shit because after 6, my body was just like, what?
Nobody knows how she does that. And to be fair, it could be a very, very messy process. Like I
bet half them babies are purchased. I bet a whole bunch of them Duggars are black market Duggars. Like dark web seeking Duggars.
It's insane. Absolutely insane.
Or they got a farm of Michelle sisters in the backyard or something that's cranking these babies out. No.
Surrogates.
All right. So best and worst jobs. You nailed that one. Have you ever seen, now this is going to be weird. Another one that I don't know what the answer is going to be. Have you ever seen a ghost, eyeballs, or third eye? And if you have, what happened?
So yes, seen a ghost, and it was in a seance. So like an adult, like not like kids getting around a table, but I didn't know adults had seances.
Thanks for clarifying.
Well, it seems like some kids would do, right? Like,
yeah.
What grown-ups do you know are like, yeah, we're gonna get together on Friday night and call up the spirit.
Have you met Gladys?
Yes, in the kukui room.
Right.
So not my first introduction, but the most impactful was being in a seance with a professional physical medium. So they're the ones that, instead of like mental mediumship, the physical mediums produce like the miracles and different things like that, apportations, which is like bringing objects into a room out of nowhere. And so the ghost that I got to see was manipulating ectoplasm that had come from, because it comes out of a human being. And it looks like wet laundry. It comes from the nose and the mouth. It smells like wet dog. And it moves and can take the shape of different things, faces, hands, things like that. And he walked around the room. We got to hold it. And said ghost was Winston Churchill. So yeah.
That is literally the fanciest answer I've ever gotten to that question. He's just like, yeah, I woke up, grandma's right at the bottom of the bed, you know?
Yeah, that's happened. But that was the most impactful one.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
So this is something I don't know. What music, whether it's the type of music or specific songs or albums, was the soundtrack of your past?
So I had to dig for this one. Like I was like, I don't even, because I just let my my playlists go. And so I've always, growing up in the 90s, but then also that genre of music was the soundtrack of my life. And so every song, whether it was R&B, whether it was pop or something in between, was it defined a moment in my life. Like I could attach every single song to a memory. Wow. Ace of Base and like all of these different things. But then I sat back. I was like, no, you got to pick one. So yes, the 90s, but you got to pick one. And specifically, I should say like 95 to 97.
Now it can be a list.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be just one.
But I've managed to narrow it down. It's Meet Virginia by Train. Not necessarily for the specifics of the lyrics, but how contradictory he talks about this woman. So she's like this, but she's also that. And, she loves these different things, and who she was raised by doesn't make sense for who she is. And I was like, yeah, that's me. So Meet Virginia by Train. Yeah. I'm a walking contradiction.
Partly truth and partly fiction.
Yeah.
So plane, train, bus, car, or boat?
Well, I kind of answered the question already. Train.
Train.
So for me, the train has the best parts about being a passenger princess. Like I hate driving. Like if we were all afforded one luxury in the world, and I think we should be, mine would be having a driver. I thought about maybe a chef.
Yeah, that's good too.
And I'm dating somebody who loves driving, so it's been like a load off of my plate. But the train is like, yeah, I just get on, I sit. And then the other factors of that is it gives me the most scenery of all the options. So when I'm driving, I love looking around. It's not a good idea. I've gotten several accidents. So I can't enjoy that when I'm driving. And then in a plane, you get scenery up to a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other one? A bus?
Plane, train, bus, car, boat. Yeah.
I hate buses. I just don't like them. And boats, I never know if I'm gonna get seasick or not. And so train seemed to be the one that called out to me the most for those reasons. But I think it's also the most dangerous of all the options. So that's exhilarating.
Interesting.
We like to touch danger a little bit.
Counting that as a plus.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah. Are we gonna derail? Woo! We didn't.
So with your partner, I need to just, now, I'm not going to name any current husbands by name or anything, but there's almost a patriarchal thing going on with the driving. Now, I don't mind that. It works to my advantage. Absolutely. I drive if he's drunk. That's the only time I ever, not, if he's had a couple of drinks and it's not, good for him to drive. That's the only time I ever drive. And that's every 2 or 3 years. But if we're going somewhere, meeting somebody for dinner, another couple or something, and they drive up and she's driving, he's like, well, that's weird.
How interesting.
Yeah. I was wondering that about your partner, if there was any, or if it was just, I really like to drive.
I think he really likes to drive. I know he doesn't like my driving because I'm quick in my little Prius. But he will let me drive sometimes, in terms of, like, when I say let me, if I ask, if I'm like, no, I really want to drive, or I'm taking you somewhere, then he doesn't fight me. But I think I just kind of fell into it. And as far as comments on other drivers, he never says anything out loud, so I'm gonna ask him. Do you think it's weird when you feel about driving?
Yeah, Eric knows he has no danger whatsoever that I'm gonna try to oust him out of the driver's seat. I'm always Miss Daisy. I'm always gonna be. In fact, to the point that I have a horseshoe pillow in the car, because if it's any length of time, I'm gonna put my head on that pillow and zonk out, which is not good when you're driving. And I have to have the little baby kind of seatbelt adjuster so that the seatbelt isn't over my face. So it takes it down here under the boob. And there's all this stuff that has to happen if I'm in the car.
I love that.
And I get horribly seasick, or motion sick. I cannot ride in the back seat. All right. I have a Meniere's episode if I ride in the back seat, and so I'm out for the day. It's not just, oh, I'm queasy. It'll set off my Meniere's every time.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
That passenger princess stuff is real deal. Like, I didn't know how great I had it until I had it. Like, and I love, my favorite thing, I don't have the pillows. I'm gonna have to look into that. But his car, unlike mine, has seat warmers. So every time I get in, doesn't matter what temperature it is outside, I'm like, boop. Just turn it off.
Same. It can be 100 degrees out. I will have my seat warmer on. Yep. And now when we're buying vehicles, I sort by, the only thing I sort by is, does it have a seat warmer? I will never purchase a car that doesn't have a working seat warmer. And I've got a dear friend, Gregory Zeri, and he's going to be one of our interviews coming up before too long. And he has had a Land Rover, and was it a Land Rover? I think it was a Land Rover. Anyway, I was down in WeHo, down in Hollywood, and he was taking me out to dinner, and he had just gotten this thing. And it was July, and he said, watch this. And he turns it on this seat cooler, which I had never had. And he looks at me and he goes, doesn't it just feel like somebody's blowing mentholatum up your butt? And it gets even better because my brain went, I am so flattered that he thinks I would know what that feels like. And you compare.
Right.
I must be cooler than I thought. And it did, it kind of did. And so that was my first experience with a a seat cooler, but I've never had a seat cooler. It was just there in Gregory's vehicle.
You have to find a test drive something.
I think it would be worth it just to pretend you're going to buy one so that you could try out the seat cooler. I got to test to see if it works. You just got to turn on air bidet.
I love it.
Yeah, so that's the end of our list.
Made it.
Right. You have anything you want to promote? Anything new that you're doing, or anything that you want to share about?
New things that I'm doing. I'm doing a 6-week journey with people to take them through their human design and gene keys in a way that will align them more with their personal power and kind of what they came here to hold. Because in 2027, we're going to be seeing more of that. We're seeing it now, which is why the world seems so fucked. But we're shifting from, we're shifting from this sort of what's good for the greater collective to what's good for the individual as a species. And I have come to understand that my place in all that is teaching people how to utilize the power that they have, instead of deferring that power, because I'm really good at deferring the power, so I can help you not do that. But that's the biggest thing that I'm working on now. It's my biggest project. So if anybody is interested, reach out.
Everybody, what would you say about shut up. I should have turned that off. Sorry, guys. I'm probably about halfway through my gene key cycle.
Yeah, literally halfway.
And it's phenomenal. It takes a lot for anything to impress me. I am so bored by repetition, and everything out there in woo-woo, everything out there in witchcraft, everything out there in folk magic, it becomes repetition, so that every book about witchcraft is the same stuff repeated, which is important. We need those time-honored messages to be related through different voices, different ages, different generations. That has to happen. I'm all about that. But you kind of get to the place that you want something new and different, where you go, wow, okay, that got me. And you participate a lot more in some of the woo-woo stuff than I do. And I have a hard time sometimes finding things that are relatable to me, where I can say, oh, that looks interesting, I'd like to try that. And the gene keys process, which is lengthy, is just phenomenal. I've learned so much about myself. I love your channeling that happens during the session. I love the insight that it brings. It's like having an astrology chart that is down to your molecular level and is really telling you and showing you who you are and what you're about and how to honor and appreciate and work with and challenge those inherent shadow selves, as well as your maximum benefit of the things you're great at. And I just love it. And I highly recommend it to anybody. It's just an amazing journey. And Dahlia is absolutely the best curator and tour guide you could have for that journey. And it's just wonderful.
I appreciate you saying that.
Oh,
it's been an absolute joy to work with you because of your expansive mind and the way that you think about things. It's the same thing as talking to you just about anything. You bring a new depth and a clarity to the process. And that's what I love about working with not just you, but like it's different with everybody. So
sure.
Katrina, you're really great as a and I don't know how you'll take this, but like you're like a bona fide death walker. Meaning
I like that.
like you aren't afraid to go into the worst, most challenging spaces to see what's there. And when you do that and then you excavate like what's actually happening, it's a palpable experience for both of us. And so I really appreciate that. And for anybody else that were to take the journey, you really get to see what that looks like for you personally. Like, you
Right.
may not be a death walker, you may be a creative, you may be a cosmic energy, you may, there's so many different things. And so it's a project, but it's so much fun. I mean, I never get bored with it. And there are people that have similar gene keys to others, and they're still not the same. So it's a
Wow.
lot of fun.
I think I'm going to need a t-shirt. This says Bonafide Death Walker on it. Has a
Yeah,
nice
we could do
graphic.
that.
Gonna have to. That's going to happen. Dahlia, thank you so much for being here. And for all the things that we've mentioned, I'm going to have that in the description so that you can link to it very easily. And we will get Dahlia back again for another amazing visit. And for now, thank you so much, Dahlia. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.